What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Discovering Nicole. That would be me, your girl, Nicole. We are almost out of 2022 and into 2023. And you guys, I have to tell you something. The time goes by so much quicker whenever you become an adult. I remember growing up and as a kid and just thinking like the years could not go by fast enough. And now they are just spinning past me. Like I can't believe how fast this year it's like gone already. I can't believe it. I really cannot believe it. But anyways, that's not what we're talking about today, you guys. Tonight, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking all about buprenorphine. SUBOXONE. That's right. If you don't like hearing about SUBOXONE, this is your opportunity to X out the video. No harm done. You can catch me on the next one. But I have a lot of people here that watch my channel that are on buprenorphine, SUBOXONE, just like me, and they have questions and I got answers. So let's get into it. For a lot of you guys, you don't really know how I got on subs, so I'm going to share a little bit of that with you. So I got on SUBOXONE in 2015 after my son had gotten taken away from me by Child Protective Services. It happened out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it. They showed up at my door. Blah 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 blah. I was caught off guard. Needless to say, I was using substances, so my son did get taken away from me. After I graduated treatment, because I put myself right into treatment right away. After I graduated treatment, I went to the doctor and I told the doctor that I needed more help because in my past, I had always relapsed at about the 6-month mark. And I did not want that to happen, and I did not want to lose custody of my son forever because that's what was told to me. If you relapse, we will terminate your rights. So I did not have a bunch of chances, you know? So I was 30 days sober from opiates when I got on SUBOXONE. Now, I did not know anything about Vivitrol. I didn't even know what it was, and nobody said anything to me about it. So I got on subs, okay? Now, thinking back and realizing that nobody even told me what Vivitrol was, that kind of does make me a little upset. Because I feel like if I had been told about that, I might have tried that. But it's all in the past. I can't go back now, and I'm alive, and I am grateful. So that's when I got on subs. So I've been on subs since about August of 2015. Okay? Now, what was the highest dose that I was prescribed? And I say highest because, what was the most that I took, right? That was prescribed to me. 12 milligrams. I started out on 8 milligrams, and you can imagine I had no opiates in my system, and I had been off opiates for 30 days. So when I took that first SUBOXONE, it knocked me out. I was asleep. It knocked me out for about 2 or 3 days. I slept and was just like not really that good, not really here. But then after about 3 days, I felt normal again, just like myself. Okay? Okay. So, it was really hard for me to make the decision to get on SUBOXONE because of the stigma of medication-assisted treatment. I've always been told that being on SUBOXONE is not sober because the only way that I was ever told about recovery was 12-step recovery. I was never offered any kind of different form of recovery at all. That's why I want you guys to understand how lucky you are that you're coming up in a time where there's so many options. Whenever I was coming up, the only option to get sober and stay sober was through 12 steps. And that's the only thing that has ever been taught to me until just a couple of years ago. So you guys are so fortunate that you have all these different options on how to get sober and stay sober. So find what works for you and do it, okay? So once I got on SUBOXONE and I was on 8 milligrams, I was struggling with taking 4 more milligrams every day in the afternoon. Every day in the afternoon, I would go to my medication and I would take a half of a strip and I would take it. So I went to my doctor and I told my doctor, hey doc, I keep taking a half of more strip every day, so I'm going to run out early. And so that's when my doctor said, okay, I'm going to give you that extra half, and I'll put you on 12 milligrams. And I was like, okay, cool. And so that's what started my journey on 12. I stayed on 12 milligrams for 4 years before I started to taper. I started tapering in 2019, and it took me 2 years to taper all the way down to a quarter of a milligram, just so you know. But I also bounced back and forth, so that's why it took me so long. So side effects of SUBOXONE. So when I first started SUBOXONE, I was having headaches and constipation like nobody's business, right? So I went to my doctor and I was like, hey doc, like I can't sleep because of these headaches and constipation, and I always poop, you know what I mean? And he was like, okay, let me think. Are you swallowing your medication? And I was like, what do you mean? He said, are you swallowing all the stuff that comes with it when it's in your mouth? And I said, well, yeah, I don't want to waste any of it. And he said, start spitting. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, this is what I mean. Place your SUBOXONE strip underneath your tongue or pill, whatever it is, and let it completely dissolve. Once it has completely dissolved, like you lift up your tongue and there's nothing else there, all the liquid that is in your mouth, you don't have to swallow that. You can spit it out. And I was like, are you sure that's not wasting the medication? And that's when he told me, he said, no, this medication gets into your system sublingually. So once it completely dissolves, it's in your system, right? And so I said, okay. And that's when I started spitting. You guys, my headaches and my constipation completely went away. And that is when I became an advocate for spitting instead of swallowing. But it's the truth. It's the truth. So if you're somebody who is experiencing side effects of pooping and not pooping and having really bad migraine headaches, try spitting. Try spitting. And again, I'm telling you, let your medication dissolve completely, okay? Completely dissolve. Then you can spit out the residue, okay? Now remember, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I'm just sharing with you guys what I have done and what has worked for me, okay? Another side effect of SUBOXONE that has got me time and time again is the damn sweating. Now this for me was really tough because I had gained a lot of weight, right? When I got on SUBOXONE, I was still small. When I got on SUBOXONE, I was still small, and I didn't realize how much weight I was going to gain. Now, if you ask me, do I think SUBOXONE, helped me gain weight? Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that was one of the side effects for me, was gaining weight, and then I gained even more weight on top of that. Okay? It was really, really, really tough to deal with as a woman. I kept looking at myself in the mirror thinking, my husband's not going to love me anymore. He's not going to want to be around me. And that's just not how it is. He loves me no matter what. But if you're like me and you're a woman, I know how you feel. And I have struggled. So back to the sweating. What do you do for the sweating? Well, I reached out to my doctor again, and I was like, dude, what can we do for the sweating? It's fucking horrible, man. And then that's when he talked to me about a medication called Vitadone. It's spelled V as in Victor, I-T-A-D-O-N-E. Vitadone. And that will help you with your sweating. Just make sure you drink plenty of water, because if you don't, you can get dehydrated from the medication. Another side effect, sex drive goes non-existent. Now, we talk about this a lot on my channel, sex and recovery. I think, the reason why I like to talk about it so much is because I know how many of you guys live in shame. I know how many of you guys will literally want to be intimate with your partner but not say anything because you're ashamed or embarrassed to say something. And so that's why I don't mind talking about it. Now, me and my husband, we are both on SUBOXONE, so both of our sex drive was affected. And so we went probably a year or two without saying anything to each other about it because we were so busy focusing on making sure we got custody of our son back. We were fighting for our son. And that was hard. Fighting for our son was the hardest thing we've ever done. Um, but we had to do it. We had to do it. Okay. So anyway, I'm trying to think. We had to start learning how to communicate with each other. And I had never said anything to him about how I felt, about him and I being on subs, about our life, about anything. I was just like really quiet about it. So I finally got the balls to say, hey, like, how do you feel now that we're on subs? Are you attracted to me? I'm attracted to you. We haven't had sex in a while. Do you want to do it? And that's just what I had to do. I had to literally come up out of my shell and go, I want to have sex. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Because it just wasn't happening naturally, and that's because of the SUBOXONE. Now, I will tell you this: if you're in a relationship and your significant other is not on SUBOXONE, it can be really, really challenging to have one person on it and one person not. And I have had so many men and women reach out to me and tell me about their significant others not being supportful of their. Where are you going?
I left my water bottle at the pool down there.
Oh.
I'm just walking around the corner.
Okay, Neil. Anyway, sorry, I was trying to see what he was doing. The sex drive thing is one of the hardest, I feel like, to deal with if your significant other is not on subs also, because I get so many people that reach out to me and they are like, Nicole, my significant other is not going to support me through this time. They are pissed because I don't want to have sex all the time. And so what I have learned, you guys, is that I had to start making compromise, sacrifice. If my husband wanted to have sex and I didn't feel like it, honey, there are times where I take one for the team and I'll go ahead and do it. I'll do it. Nathaniel, don't do that. I'll do it because I want to make sure that I make him happy. His bullet thing, did you hear that? How hard it hit? If that had hit me, that would have hurt. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about before I go. About subs. The most important is the shame and the judgment that you will get from other people in the recovery community. I want to talk to you about that right now, okay? I have been on SUBOXONE for almost 8 years, and for all those 8 years, I have been judged, I have been ridiculed, I have been told that my recovery is not valid, I have been told that I am not sober, that I might as well be on heroin. I mean, I have just been broken down, and I will tell you guys one thing right now, okay? I do not regret 1 minute of getting on SUBOXONE. It was the best decision I ever made because I could not maintain sobriety. Okay, I could not maintain sobriety through an abstinence-based program, and so getting on MAT, it saved my life, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I did. If you're somebody out there who shames addicts and alcoholics who have to get on some kind of MAT treatment, I want you to really take a step back and reevaluate your life. Okay? What you're doing is hurting so many people. There's so many of us that we just want to be accepted. That's all we want, is to be able to say, hey, we're part of the recovery community. Like we're all in this together. And when you meet us and you tell us, we're not in recovery, we're not sober, I cannot tell you, man, it's the worst feeling in the whole wide world coming from your peers, And so if you're somebody who shames somebody for being on subs, please rethink it. Please change and don't do that anymore, because it really does hurt. What, Nate?
I want to tell them.
What?
I want to show them this new gun.
This is a recording video, Nate. Go ahead and show them real fast.
Look, this new Nerf gun that I got shoots over 125 feet.
Awesome.
So it's like...
Okay. So he wanted to show y'all his new gun. So anyways, that's my quick wrap up on SUBOXONE treatment. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments and I'll answer them. I'm here for any of you guys. If you need to get on MAT treatment and you don't know what to do, you can use my name, Nicole, and you can go to recoverydelivered.com/Nicole and fill out that information. give them my name, and they will give you 50% off your first appointment. So your appointment will only be $49. So if you're somebody who's been trying to get on MAT treatment and you haven't been able to because you couldn't afford it, you can use my name. I got a deal for you at Recovery Delivered. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. I love making videos for you, and I have more and more and more to come. Please comment down below and let me know what videos you would like to hear from me next. One more thing. Oh yeah, if you want to become a substance use disorder counselor and you live in California, Georgia, or Oregon, hit me up. Okay, I'm going to a school called ADCSI, and we are actually certified out of those states to teach you how to be a counselor, and so you can get your certification to be a counselor. So if that's something you want to do, send me a message or click the link in my description box. It'll say become a substance use disorder counselor. There's a link right there. Click that link and make an appointment with Mr. Rick and get yourself on the road for a new education. Yeah, all right, I love you guys. I'll see you later.